The room fell into silence, the kind only murder can conjure. Ambassador Juno Ree's body hit the marble floor with a soft thud, her wine glass shattering a beat later. Her eyes were still open, frozen wide in confusion more than fear. No one screamed at first. Not even the dignitaries, seasoned diplomats, trained to smile through political bloodletting. But this was something different. Commander Alara Voss watched the live feed from the Vindicator's command deck, her face unreadable. "Pause and zoom in," she ordered. The projection froze on the moment Ree's chest seized, just before the fall. The light shimmer behind her shoulder barely registered, one frame of distortion. "Cloaking field," said Lieutenant Kamari, running the feed through filters. "External breach, localized power spike, definitely tech we don't own." Alara didn't respond. She stared at the paused image, then turned her back to it. "Secure the channel," she said. "Scramble the fleet. Prep Vindicator for silent jump." Kamari hesitated. "Ma'am, Alliance Command has issued a stand down until..." "I don't answer to the Alliance. Not anymore." By the time Vindicator entered dark space jump, news of the assassination had already fractured the High Council. Alliance marshals sealed off the council chamber, detaining all Earth personnel on Zereth Prime. The Velthari delegation, untouched and eerily composed, requested an immediate diplomatic immunity hearing. Alara listened to the preliminary hearing via encrypted link as she paced her quarters. The Velthari High Strategist, Velrax, spoke with his usual calm disdain. "We regret the tragedy," he said, voice filtered through multiple translators. "But this accident must not escalate into unfounded accusations. The biological fragility of humans is well known." Alara stopped pacing. She leaned toward the console. "Biological fragility doesn't explain a cloaked intruder inside a secure diplomatic chamber." Velrax turned, his expression unreadable behind his silvery faceplate. "Captain Voss. War veterans like yourself are prone to see violence in diplomacy. It's understandable." The arrogance radiating through the feed was almost physical. "I've seen enough diplomacy," she replied. "And a dozen assassinations in my time, but never one that clean. Never that casual." Later, in Vindicator's war room, the officers gathered around a rotating schematic of the Zereth Prime Station. "I want access to the chamber's surveillance," Alara said. "The full feed, not the sanitized archive the Council provided." Commander Rysek, her second-in-command and ex-intel officer, folded his arms. "They've locked it down tight. Even our embedded AI agents are being blocked." "That confirms it then," Alara said. "We're not looking for proof of foul play. We're looking at a cover-up." She turned to Ensign Marin. "Launch a black ice request to Ghost Hammer. They're still in Varn sector?" "Yes, ma'am. Running silent. Need to know protocols engaged. They need to know." By night cycle, Earth's Emergency Defense Council transmitted their authorization, full command to Alara under Crisis Doctrine 7. She now had unilateral authority to act. Retaliate. Investigate. Avenge. Her quarters were quiet when she received the call. The room's soft ambient hum reminded her of distant thunder, always present aboard a warship, a constant reminder of the power it held. She poured herself a glass of water, not wine. Ree had liked wine, the expensive kind shipped in memory-sealed flasks. Alara never did. She stood before the viewport, watching the stars stream past like rain. "Computer," she said quietly, "run me a replay of Council Feed 12A, full spectral overlay." Ree's collapse played out again. Then, just before it, the shimmer. Enhance. Frame 317. There. A flicker. A ripple. Movement in a space where no one stood. Her hand clenched around the glass. She didn't shatter it. She set it down slowly. "They did this," she whispered. "And they want us to play along." Next day, the High Council convened an emergency tri-species review, streamed live. Velrax spoke first, dressed in ceremonial red armor, all polished arrogance and practiced sympathy. Elara Voss, he said, is known throughout the Alliance for her dramatics. Her history is colored by military engagement, not diplomacy. That Earth would place a soldier in command during a delicate situation. Elara appeared via hardline stream, cutting in mid-sentence. Was a necessity after your people slaughtered a civilian diplomat. The room buzzed. Protocol breach. She didn't wait. We've identified cloaked energy traces consistent with Velthari scout armor. Our security agents were jammed moments before the kill. You call this coincidence? Velrax tilted his head. We call it baseless. And unfortunate. As for cloaking fields, many species possess such technology. Accusations without evidence are no different than weapons without aim. I don't need aim, Elara said. Just line of sight. Council moderator Callian, a glass-skinned Larithian, intervened. Captain Voss, we urge restraint. The Council grieves with Earth. But we cannot allow grief to fuel another war. No, Elara replied. But you're about to find out what happens when Earth stops waiting for your permission to matter. Back aboard Vindicator, Elara walked the main corridor in silence. Her officers saluted, but she barely acknowledged them. Rysek joined her. You know what they're trying to do, he said. Push us. Make us overreact so they can call us the aggressors. Then we won't overreact, she said. We'll respond. She stopped before the door to tactical operations. Rysek keyed it open. Inside, the display showed a black and red schematic, Project Aegis, Earth's untested satellite weapon array, hidden in orbit over key colonies, powered by solar fusion siphons. I thought we weren't supposed to use Aegis until formal declaration, Rysek said. Elara stared at the glowing outline of Arcturus Prime, Earth's nearest outpost to Velthari space. We won't use it, she said. Pause. Until they make the next move. In the comms bay, a silent alert blinked on the secure channel. Priority 1 transmission, Arcturus Prime under attack. Velthari vessels detected, ****. Elara didn't hesitate. She tapped into the command relay and spoke 3 words. Sound battle stations. The Velthari hit Arcturus Prime with precision. No warning. No declaration. Just a silence broken by orbital bombardment. Commander Elara Voss watched the transmission in grim silence, shaky footage from a civilian comms tower before it went dark. The sky rained fire. Earth's outer colony, population 30,000, burned under the cold efficiency of a preemptive strike. We have to respond now, said Rysek. The fleet's ready. Not yet, Elara said, jaw clenched. We need proof. Real proof. Not assumptions. Rysek stared at her. They just attacked a colony. And they'll say it was rogue actors, a miscommunication, a defense test gone wrong. We act too early, we lose the narrative. Elara pulled up the decrypted message Ghost Hammer had recovered the day before, fragments of orders routed through hidden Velthari relays. Terminate Earth Envoy. Initiate Doctrine of Containment. Half corrupted, half coded. But it was a thread. She intended to pull it. 12 light minutes away, in the dead zone of Sector Varn, Ghost Hammer's stealth shuttle drifted like a shadow beneath a derelict asteroid belt. Its hull reflected nothing. Its crew was silent. Major Lang, lean and grizzled, adjusted his visor and motioned the infiltration squad forward. Target relay is 10 clicks inside the Velthari Blacksite station. Quiet approach. No chatter. They moved through the decompression tunnel with surgical precision. The Velthari tech glowed faint blue, alien and angular. Every wall pulsed with organic circuitry. A mistake here would be lethal. Biosign trace is minimal, whispered Corporal Sarah through subvocal comms. Station's running dark, but I've got automated signals, heartbeat monitors, layered AI sweep. Lang signaled to his tech. Worm it. Copy every command string, priority to encrypted data cores. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. They found what they came for, an internal directive logged under Council-level encryption, hidden beneath layers of diplomatic archive headers. Lang's tech whispered, "This isn't just Veltri internal. These commands were sent using High Council override keys." Lang swore quietly. "Means Velrax didn't just act alone. He had access. He's compromised the damn Council." Before they could process the implications, the station shifted. Turrets rose from the ceiling, silent until they weren't. "Move!" The hallway exploded in gunfire, blue plasma rounds searing the metal walls. Lang fired back, covering Sarah as she jammed the drive into her suit. "Go!" he barked. "I'm not. Now!" The airlock hissed. Sarah launched into the black, heat trail behind her. A moment later, Lang's vitals flatlined. Elara stood over the drive as it decrypted back aboard Vindicator. Sarah, face bloodied and hollow, sat nearby, silent. She'd watched Lang go down. She'd obeyed. But that didn't ease the weight of survival. Rysek handed her the data chip. "It's real. Not just the kill order. The Council's override seal is on the document." Elara stared at the rotating Veltri crest embedded in the code. "They planned this. Ree wasn't a casualty. She was bait. And we bit." She nodded. "But they made a mistake." Elara activated the holoscreen and pulled up Earth's highest security directive, Aegis Authorization Protocol 9. It required 2 signatures. She entered hers. The other came seconds later, transmitted directly from Earth's Emergency Council. "The gloves are off," Rysek said quietly. Later that cycle, she entered the comms chamber for her second encounter with Velrax. This time, she didn't wait to be acknowledged. "We have your coded order. The assassination. The strike on Arcturus. The full doctrine," she said, voice like a blade. "And we know about the Council keys. You're not just a tyrant. You're a traitor." Velrax leaned forward, expression inscrutable. "And what will you do with such knowledge, Commander Voss?" Her eyes never wavered. "We'll show them what Earth is. What it becomes when pushed." He chuckled softly. "Your people are young. Proud. Quick to rise. Quicker to burn. You believe justice is something earned by violence. That's why you won't last." She leaned in. "We're still here. That's already proof you're wrong." The feed cut before he could reply. The council meeting that followed was chaos. Velrax stood before the other delegates, denying everything. "Fabricated transmissions," he said. "Staged data. These are the tricks of a species that thrives on deception and drama." Elara entered late, wearing her fleet uniform, Earth insignia shining like defiance. She uploaded the full Ghost Hammer transmission to the Central Archive. Delegates watched in horrified silence as the kill order played out on the screen. One by one, factions began to shift, Trelassi, Merrick Coalition, even the standoffish Yuvan. Allies of the Veltri hesitated. The tide had begun to turn. But Elara wasn't done. She stepped into the speaking platform. "Earth has always been treated as lesser. Primitive. Disposable. You didn't see our intelligence, our diplomacy, our restraint. All you saw was a race that hadn't yet shown its teeth." The chamber quieted. "You see them now." She stepped back. No applause. No ceremony. Just a quiet, shared realization. Earth was done waiting. Hours later, Vindicator received the second blow, covert footage of Veltri ships moving toward Sol. A threat. A warning. Rysek slammed his hand on the console. "They're escalating. We've got families back home, civilians." Elara stared at the screen. Earth's sun glowed behind the projected flight path. "How long until they reach firing range?" she asked. 3 hours. Her voice was low, steady. "Wake Aegis." Inside Vindicator's restricted vault, Aegis systems roared to life. Orbiting railgun satellites, long thought theoretical, began aligning across 3 sectors. Powered by solar fusion channels, invisible and silent until now, they were Earth's last resort. Elara stood with Rysek in the weapons command chamber. "No more shadow games," she said. Rysek nodded. "Time to let them see us coming." The stars over Arcturus Prime flared with unnatural light. From the command deck of the Vindicator, Commander Elara Voss watched as the first Velthary cruiser exited slipstream space. Then another. Then 8 more. All running cold. All armed. "They're forming a crescent formation," said Rysek, studying the tactical display. "Classic siege pattern. They're not just posturing, they're preparing orbital saturation." "How long before they hit the surface?" Elara asked. 17 minutes. Less if they launch immediates. She looked down at the screen. Arcturus Prime's atmosphere shimmered faintly beneath the ships, the colony's defense grid already crumbling. Emergency beacons pulsed across the surface, desperate and unanswered. "Not for long." Elara turned to weapons control. "Bring Aegis online." Across 3 solar sectors, the hidden satellite network flickered to life. The Aegis array, Earth's most secret weapon, had waited in silence for nearly a decade. No warning. No presence. Just potential. Now, that potential was about to become fact. "Aegis alignment in progress," said the ship's AI. "Targeting coordinates locked. Fusion conduits at 87% efficiency." Rysek raised an eyebrow. "We've never fired it under real conditions." "There's a first time for everything," Elara said. A message request pinged across the secure channel, **** Velrax****. "Put him through," Elara said. His face filled the screen, calm as ever. "Is this the response Earth chooses?" he asked. "To throw its weapons into the void without understanding what comes back." Elara stepped into frame. "You murdered our ambassador. Attacked our colony. Lied to the council. And still, you talk about understanding?" Velrax tilted his head slightly. "You've made your species dangerous. That's your true crime. Not ambition. Influence. You taught others to believe they could rise, too." Elara held his gaze. "Then let them rise with us, or fall with you." She cut the feed. In orbit, the Velthary ships deployed plasma silos, preparing to bombard the colony. Earth's patrol vessels flanked the Vindicator, but they were outnumbered 3-1. On the surface, Arcturus Prime's last remaining defense towers crackled and dimmed. "Ma'am," said the weapons officer, "Aegis is primed and awaiting fire authorization." Elara gave one slow nod. Fire. High above the colony, the stars shifted. Then a beam of pure kinetic energy, white-hot, invisible to radar, sliced through space and speared the lead Velthary cruiser. No sound. No warning. Just light, and then disintegration. Moments later, 2 more lances followed, ripping through the formation like razors through silk. The enemy fleet staggered, losing cohesion as ships veered, overcorrected, and collided. Aegis kept firing. In minutes, 6 of the 11 ships were nothing but burning wreckage, drifting debris falling toward the planet in flaming arcs. On the Vindicator's deck, Rysek grinned. "They didn't see it coming." "They never do," Elara said. "They only see the aftermath." The surviving Velthary vessels tried to flee, but Earth's interceptors were already in motion, carving them apart with tactical lasers and EMP warheads. One ship self-destructed. Another surrendered. Only one made it back into slipspace. Arcturus Prime was safe. But victory didn't feel clean. As the fires in orbit dimmed, Elara stood alone in the observation bay, watching the charred remains of war drift past. She didn't speak until Rysek joined her. "We won," he said softly. She didn't turn. "We answered." A long pause. "Civilian losses?" she asked. Rysek exhaled. "Higher than we hoped." The colony was already half evacuated after the warning, but, the impact zones hit 2 shelters. Elara nodded once. The kind of nod only grief could stiffen. Rysek hesitated, then placed a data chip on the railing beside her. What's that? Transmission from Council Command. They want you to attend the emergency tribunal. You've shaken the Alliance. Elara stared at the stars. No. We reminded them we're not spectators. Back on Zereth Prime, the council chamber was filled for the first time in years. Delegates murmured, not in dissent, but in fear. Not of war, but of irrelevance. Velrax stood shackled at the center. His mask was gone, revealing a face marked with scars, elegant and cold. Elara entered in full fleet dress. The council moderator, Callian, addressed her. Commander Voss, do you wish to speak before judgment? She walked to the platform, voice steady. You called us primitive when we joined. Uncivilized. Temporary. But we've built faster than you expected. Learned faster than you liked. And we didn't rise through conquest. We rose because you left the door open just long enough for us to kick it down. She paused. You killed one of ours to make us afraid. Now you're afraid because we're still here. Callian bowed her head slightly. Your statement is entered. The tribunal will proceed. Velrax looked up at her, one final time. You think this victory secures your future? No, she replied. It earns it. 3 days later, the council formally stripped the Velthari of their voting power. Their fleet was recalled. Their influence, neutered. Earth was granted a permanent seat on the Strategic Council. Equal voice. Equal power. Not as a courtesy, but as a consequence. On the return to Earth, Elara stood once more in the Vindicator's war room. Her crew waited for orders. She looked around. Today isn't a celebration. It's a warning. We won because we acted when we had to, not because we wanted to. She paused, eyes sharp. Remember that. Because next time, they won't underestimate us. They'll fear us. And fear always leads to fire. In her private quarters, the stars outside her window blinked slowly as Earth approached on the NAV screen. She tapped a single message into the fleet relay. Earth does not forget. Earth does not kneel.